Well, hello, welcome back to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today we are talking about 7 things you will regret buying. These are items that either I've purchased myself and made some mistakes, or items that I'm just kind of avoiding because I feel like they will be things that we will regret by next year. So I think you're gonna love the video. I hope you'll hit subscribe, become a part of our amazing community of fellow interior design enthusiasts. Guys, I'm telling you, it's an amazing community. By hitting subscribe, it's free. It just means that you can now find us in your subscriptions. So without further ado, let's jump in. Cheers, let's go. So one of the things I think that you'll always regret buying is a cheap rug. Now, when I say cheap, I do not mean price. I'm talking about quality here. It is so easy to get sucked into really cheap prices, and sometimes they look really good, especially when you buy them online. Well, my experience has been returning rugs doesn't feel quite so fun, and so we're tempted, even when we have ordered a cheap rug, to keep it. Cheap rugs, they are really, really thin. They're fabric, like when you step on them, you just go right to the floor. There's literally no thickness to them whatsoever. My biggest complaint about these rugs is that a lot of times they have no grip to them, and so they end up sliding around the floor. Now you can fix that problem if you have one. Don't panic. If you've got a thin rug, you probably have already been irritated by it. Honestly, I'm probably not telling you anything that you haven't already thought because those thin rugs, those kind of rag rugs that are kind of like throw rugs that have no weight to them, they're slippery, they can be dangerous. So I personally try to avoid those just in general, but there is a solution besides just getting rid of them. The other solution would be to put a nice rug pad underneath them, go for a really nice thick one. And if that's not enough to keep it in place, you could also do a little carpet, you could also do a little bit of carpet tape. We use that carpet tape all the time, and it just helps your carpets from slipping around, because a lot of times when you've bought something that's a little bit cheap, it's gonna move around and it can be a little bit dangerous. I don't know about you, but I personally don't wanna go down because of my rug. That's an embarrassing way to go. So that's what, I'm just generally thinking dumb ways to die. That's one of them. Let's not do it. So other problem with cheap rugs, as in quality, not price, is that they fall apart really easily. So you just don't get your money's worth and you end up buying another one. I think trendy rugs is another thing. Sometimes you see lots of these trendy rugs with the big abstract look in them. Those are really popular right now. I think that a lot of times those are you just get tired of them. So I've gone a different route lately. Now, of course, if you have a really big budget, you can always invest in really high-end, expensive rugs. You're gonna look for that good quality. You can look at the weave on them. You can look at the thickness. There's all sorts of rugs out there. It just depends on what you're really into. But if you're working on a budget, there are still options like these. Look at how nice and thick this is. This is from Amazon, guys. This is from a brand called Safavia. I buy their rugs all the time. I have several now. I have one in the dining room. I have one in my bedroom. I have bought a couple of these. I have the same exact one in a different color as a runner in my closet. I have them in here. I like these rugs because they're nice and thick and they're really affordable, and they don't need a rug pad. They're nice and heavy, they stay in place, and they're amazing. And people always ask, oh, how do you keep this clean? I have the green machine and I tell everybody about it. My parents were over here the other day and I was telling them about the green machine. I'm like, trust me. You can use it on upholstery, you can use it on your rugs, and so far it's taken every single thing out of our white rugs. So don't be deterred. I think going for a classic look, something that's nice and thick and has a nice heavy weight to it, will be something that'll really give you your money's worth and you'll be really happy with it. All right, another thing that I tend to avoid is faux plants. So I know a lot of you have seen that I have a few faux trees in the house. A lot of times I use those in places where they wouldn't have very good light. Sometimes I'll use some faux flowers or faux branches because something just isn't readily available. But overall, I do tend to, I always have real plants in my home because I really think that they have so many qualities that are so important to us. Studies have shown that having plants in our homes reduces stress, it reduces anxiety, it keeps us calm, it increases our productivity. It's of course also good for our well-being because it also helps with the air quality. There's so many good reasons why we should have plants. So every time I say that, people say, well, I'm a serial plant killer. And I'm like, I get you, okay? I know what it's like. And there's a little bit of a learning curve when you're learning how to have plants in your home. But one of the things that I have found that's been the most helpful is Planta. That has really helped me. It's our video sponsor for today. I know you guys have heard me talk about Planta before. It's this incredible app. You can upload each of your plants to it, and those plants have a profile. Tap the app, and then inside, it's so nice because it's customized to you. It tells you I live in Alpharetta, tells me the temperature outside, and warning, low temps today. Then it also gives me tasks today. So today's tasks have all been checked. You can see here where our new ficus is in here. We've got the fiddle fig trees that I've showed you before. We've got liquid fertilizer, mist, clean, remove dead flowers and leaves. So this is what is so great. What's so great is that there are all the information that you need in order to care for your plant is inside of here. And then of course you can also go to My Plants and see we've uploaded pictures of all of them as well. So it's nice little visual. You can go to the Dr. Planta in here. This is amazing because if you've got a plant that is not happy, this plant, Dr. Planta, is gonna help you know what's going on with it and how to help it feel better. And you can even have a little diagnose plant section right here where you can add in a photo and it shows you some of the common issues. It's super helpful, guys, okay? And then there's the entire Planta community section. So you've got an entire Planta community section here, connect with other plant lovers and plant enthusiasts and also people who are struggling with their plants. So I think it's just amazing. I think you'll absolutely love it. I highly recommend checking it out, downloading it. You can use the light meter to see if where you have your plant sitting is gonna keep it alive. You can also use it to keep track of when you should water it. It'll help you understand how often to water it based off of where it is sitting. I will leave a link for you guys down below in the show notes because I think that you're going to absolutely love it, and I know that we have. It's been amazing. So thank you again to Planta for being our video sponsor for today and also for helping us keep our plants happy. I love that. It's a win-win for everybody. Yeah. All right, look down below in the show notes. I'll have it all linked for you. Next up, I think a thing that we should all be avoiding is trendy lighting. I've always been one that kind of liked something a little bit more contemporary and a little bit more trendy. But over the years, I've realized that the lamps that I bought that were more trendy, I never kept. And if I put trendy lighting in, like in my chandeliers and stuff, it was like, okay, I'm ready to change them. So maybe it's just part of becoming older. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I really do want to spend my money well and I don't want to have to spend it over and over. I have started to really err on the side of buying lighting that is not trendy. I think that if you go for something that's really classic and timeless, you're going to love it for the rest of your life and you're always going to be able to find a place for it in your home. That doesn't mean that you're a lot of times people associate classic and timeless with boring or old and stodgy. Those are not words that you have to use, okay? There is a lot of beautiful lighting out there. I just think that like when I get on West Elm and I see like the zigzag lamps, I just feel like it's too trendy for me at least. It may not be too trendy for you. That may be a style that you'll love for the rest of your life, which is why I'm slow to want to bash anything out there and to give you too many examples of what not to buy because it may be something that you would love for the rest of your life. So I think the better question here is to ask yourself, when it comes to lighting, what will you love forever and ever? Is there a style that no matter what comes and goes, you will just love this lighting. That's what I'm looking for. And at times it can be a little bit more expensive. I love to shop on places like Visual Comfort. That's where they have all the designer lighting. Well, not all of it, but a lot of designer lighting. And they really stock a lot of beautiful designer brands that really sell you high quality lighting. You might be surprised that some of it can be quite affordable. So don't be deterred if you're working on a budget, at least checking it out. But you can also check out places like Pottery Barn. West Elm also has some very timeless classic designs. I think that places like Our House have beautiful lighting if you're still trying to work on a budget. But also check out Amazon, because I have found some really great lighting on Amazon that feels really high quality, really has that timelessness to it, kind of like the lamps in my bedroom. I really love those. And I buy them all the time. I use them in my client work. I just think they're so beautiful. They're so classic. They have that little bit of that little basket weave in them that makes them feel just a little bit unusual and special and not boring, but then they're just kind of timeless. So I think it's worth checking out. And I think that this lighting is a bigger deal than a lot of us want to think about. Like even in here, I've got these little brass lights in here. I like that kind of pharmacy lighting. I think it's just really timeless. And so that's what I'm looking for. And I think that based off of your comments, it seems to be something that you guys are looking for as well. So for me, trendy lighting is something that I have found myself really starting to just pass on. Let's talk about trendy chairs, because I'm the type that a lot of times what I'll do is I do a lot of classic pieces and then I'll want to do a little bit trendier piece in a room. Well, the longer I do this, the more I'm like, I don't want anything that's so trendy that I won't want it for a really long time. So I've got the chairs that are in here that to me were a little bit more trendy, a little bit more contemporary. But for me, they were something that I have loved year after year after year. And I just love the shape. I love that contemporary feel. So it's not really about the fact of what style it is, right? Sometimes something can be contemporary and have a lasting quality to it. But as I see these chairs coming out, like at West Elm, not to pick at West Elm, but I was on there checking out what was new. We were just in the store. If you haven't seen our living channel, we have moved the vlogs over there and you can check out where we were shopping at West Elm. I was with my mom and we were having a lot of fun. And I can get sucked in to these trendier chairs. And I know that over the long term, they've got these kind of like chunky legs on them. And I'm like, I've done this before. And I wanted to get rid of those after a while, because that's not a leg that I really like for like a long time. So I don't know about you, but I think once you really start to identify your personal style, let me know if that's a video that you really would like to talk about more about how to actually discover your personal style. But I do think that once you really understand your style, it's easier to avoid things that are trendy for you. So there might be somebody that looks at the chairs at West Elm that are coming out and that's like a forever piece for them. And then there's somebody like me and I'm like, been there, done that, I'm not gonna make that mistake twice, okay? I know myself, I know that I really like a timeless classic look, and the feet on that that's not gonna add up. One more for West Elm and then I'll stop, okay? The next one that I've been avoiding, and I definitely see a lot of it still at West Elm, is Trendy Art. So I have purchased pieces that are contemporary from West Elm and I have them in my home and I really enjoy them. But I have found myself getting further and further away from trendy art, like the posters that just, yeah, the styles just aren't me. And a lot of times I've discovered that I really don't like it when they don't come with a matting, or if the frame, I should say trendy, but kind of like the cheap looking art. I think that really is more of what I really don't like about it, is that it just looks cheap, even though it isn't cheap, because $200 to me for a piece of art is not cheap. So when I see like posters framed with white frames, I think, oh, that just kind of looks cheap, but it's actually expensive. So yeah, same for like the light kind of blonde wood frames where it's just a poster inside. It's kind of the whole combination for me. It feels a little bit trendy, it feels a little bit cheap, and that's the kind of art that previously I might have gotten sucked into, and now I'm like, no, it just doesn't really give a very elegant feel to my home, and I find myself avoiding that. So instead, what I'm looking for is, I don't mind buying posters. I don't mind buying digital art. Oh, Etsy is such a good source for digital art. Love photography. I find that if I do a nice big matting in it and I do a wood frame with that, that combination looks a lot more elegant and sophisticated and refined rather than like just a poster frame without matting. So those are little tweaks that you can make even to the pieces that you might already have. You might want to think about switching out the frame. If the frame that you have looks a little bit cheap, that's another quick little fix. But I do think that trendy art, and we see it kind of come and go, that's the kind of art that I really want to avoid, because I want to invest my money into pieces that I'll have forever. Plastic storage for me is just one that I am like, ugh, why did I buy this? I end up hating it. And I always end up like putting up with it for a while, like little plastic bins, right, that you put inside the cabinet, some of the plastic organizational items especially. Now, the one place that I will say, my bathroom drawers are one where I think the plastic is really nice because it's waterproof. I do think that that's nice. But they do sell like really nice ones, even from places like IKEA and Amazon, where they're like a wood and they have a little coating on them and they can be damp without getting ruined. I really think that those are better options, and I have over time gotten to where I never buy plastic storage. So whether it's a bin for toys or it's a bin that's gonna go inside of cabinets, even the little egg crates that go in the refrigerator, I had one of those for a while. I switched those out to the ceramic ones. It's those kinds of things, because I feel like over the course of time, I'm like, ugh, it's just not very pretty to look at. It just looks cheap, and that stuff's not cheap. It's not cheap enough. A lot of times you can find really nice things that are made of like a wicker basket or like a really nice sturdy wood box that you could use. Like those tend to almost be the same price. So it's not really about price here, it's really about style. So for me, plastic storage is one that I'm like, well, I always regret buying that. Why buy it? But I'm just gonna end up regretting it, and then I'm gonna end up donating it, and that's fine, someone else is using it, but it was kind of a waste of my money, and I kind of get upset about it. I'm like, ugh, I hate wasting money. I hate doing that. So yeah, that's one for me. I've discovered no more plastic storage unless absolutely necessary, but generally it's not. So I'm just not gonna do it. Ooh, trendy pillows. Yes, trendy pillows. I've definitely been sucked into that one many, many times. Oh, it's just so tempting when you're standing in Target and they've got all these cute pillows. And they're really fun, and that's it, right? It's fun. It's a moment, you have it with your pillow and you're like, ooh, cute, fun. And then you're like, a few months later, you're like, why did I buy that? Like, you were just having a moment with it in the store and it was a little bit emotional, and you don't end up loving it. A lot of times those trendy pillows, they come in really kind of cheap fabrics. They come with fiberfill inserts, which really don't stand up to use. And you can't change them out most of the time. They tend to not have zippers on them, so you're kind of stuck with this pillow. And then if you want to store it, you're gonna end up with like a massive storage area full of all these trendy pillows that you don't want. So what I've started to do is, you can kind of tell here, I tend to go, I don't only do neutrals. At the moment, I just have it set with neutrals, but I do try to go with pillows that have a more lasting quality to them, that are a little less trendy. I prefer when they have a zipper as well, so that if I want to switch them out, I can just simply switch out the cover. But right now, because it's winter, we've got the fur in here, the mink. Oh my gosh, this pillow is heaven. The matching blanket, I don't know if you can kind of see it, the blanket back here. Oh, amazing, amazing. But I also just buy some simple velvet cushions like these, and it gives me a really nice lasting quality to my interior, and I use these over and over and over and over for my clients. I have found that they appreciate that there's an evergreen quality to what I've given them. So I think that these are another really beautiful option. I love the boucle ones. I don't have the boucle out at the moment here. I have them up in my son's room. Boucle, really great option. Yeah, I have some more velvet here with the little the little piping on them. These are all really inexpensive. I think that you can also invest a lot more into your pillows. If you want to get custom pieces that are readily available, look on Etsy, because you can find some really good ones that are made with Schumacher fabrics, with Ralph Lauren fabrics, and some of the designer brands are available to buy on Etsy without having to go and source it all yourself. But you could also go ahead and source your pillow fabrics and all that kind of stuff as well. But I do think it's okay to include patterns. I'm not suggesting you can't have patterns. It's just that it happens to be that's how this is set up right now. But I do think trying to avoid the trendy ones is better. And definitely ones that have the fiber fill where it's not very easy to switch out the covers, because that just ends up being a total pain. As a person who likes lots of pillows and likes to switch them out, I think it's fun to play with them, but I do tend to just avoid those really trendy patterns that just don't last. Yeah, because then I just end up getting rid of them, and that makes it cranky. Well, I hope today's video has left you feeling super inspired. I think so often we get caught into the trap of seeing what we don't have in our homes. But I hope through this video, I've encouraged you to see the opportunities, things that maybe we shouldn't do, but what can we do with our homes, and how can we make them a better space and also make our lives better through that. I hope you'll want to hit subscribe, stick around and check out some more of the videos. We have an entire library of interior design videos that we hope you'll want to check out. Plus we've got room makers and all sorts of fun things. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.